Imagine a world consumed by fear, a disease so ruthless it was called the Red Plague. This was not just a disease, it was a merciless invader that took hold of our world, leaving no corner untouched. The Red Plague was a pandemic that swept across the continents, leaving a trail of devastation in its wake. This ruthless disease was named for its most distinctive symptom, a crimson rash that painted the skin of those afflicted. It was an unmistakable mark, a haunting visual reminder of the invisible enemy we were up against. This was no ordinary sickness. Its symptoms were severe and debilitating, ranging from high fever and chills to excruciating body aches. The most terrifying part? It struck swiftly, often leaving its victims with mere days to live. The spread of the Red Plague was rapid and relentless. It traveled across oceans and borders, propelled by our interconnected world. It didn't discriminate, infecting the young and old, the rich and poor, the strong and the weak. The world was gripped by panic and fear. People retreated into their homes, afraid to venture out. Cities became ghost towns overnight. The economy came to a grinding halt as businesses shuttered and jobs vanished. The very fabric of society was being torn apart. The death toll was staggering. The Red Plague was not just a health crisis, it was a human catastrophe. It claimed countless lives, leaving behind a sea of mourning families and communities. The medical community was stretched to its limits, grappling with the sheer scale of the pandemic. Hospitals were overwhelmed, and doctors and nurses worked tirelessly, often at great personal risk. Despite their heroic efforts, the high fatality rate was a grim reminder of the ferocity of the Red Plague. The Red Plague was a dark chapter in human history, a time of despair and uncertainty. It was a time when fear and anxiety cast a long shadow over our daily lives. But it was also a time that tested our resilience, our ability to adapt and overcome. And as we'll see, it was a time that sparked a historic scientific breakthrough. In the face of this deadly disease, humanity had a choice: to succumb or to fight. We chose to fight. The Red Plague, a relentless adversary, pushed us to our limits. With its deathly grasp unfurling across the globe, we found ourselves in a desperate race against time. Measures were put in place to combat this unseen enemy, and at the heart of it all was the spirit of human resilience. Quarantine practices were implemented on an unprecedented scale. Whole cities were cordoned off, and homes became fortresses against the unseen enemy. It was an era of isolation, a time when our collective strength was tested. But even in the face of such adversity, humanity didn't waver. Simultaneously, we witnessed the rise of several primitive treatments, born out of desperation and hope. From herbal remedies to bloodletting, the means were varied and vast, reflecting the collective human desire to find a cure, no matter how elusive. These treatments, while rudimentary, were the stepping stones on our path to a solution. But it was the healthcare professionals who truly stood as the bulwark against the Red Plague. They were the unsung heroes, the warriors in white, battling the disease on the front lines. Their tireless efforts, their unwavering commitment, their sacrifices, were the beacon of hope in the darkest of times. The battle against the Red Plague was not just a physical one, it was a mental struggle, a test of our willpower and determination. It made us question our limits, it made us realize our potential. It was a battle fought not just in hospitals or labs, but in every home, every heart. This battle was a testament to human resilience. It showed us that even in the face of a seemingly invincible enemy, we could rise, we could fight, we could persevere. And above all, it made us realize the desperate need for a solution that would not just end the battle, but win the war. The battle against the Red Plague was a test of human resilience and determination. In the darkest hour, a sliver of hope emerged, the invention of the world's first vaccine. This was a turning point in our battle against the Red Plague. The heroes of this story were not knights in shining armor, but scientists clad in white coats, armed with knowledge and determination. The scientific community was in a race against time, and at the forefront was a man named Edward Jenner. Jenner, an English physician, was not the first to attempt inoculation, but his work on the vaccine was groundbreaking. He observed that milkmaids who contracted cowpox, a disease similar to the Red Plague but much less severe, seemed to be immune to the deadly disease. This observation sparked an idea. Jenner hypothesized that if he could expose a healthy person to cowpox, they would also become immune to the Red Plague. To test this, he conducted an experiment that would make modern ethicists squirm. He inoculated a young boy with cowpox, and once the boy had recovered, exposed him to the Red Plague. The boy did not fall ill. Jenner's hypothesis was correct. This discovery was monumental, but it wasn't met with immediate celebration. Jenner faced substantial resistance and skepticism from his peers. His idea was radical, and many doctors were reluctant to risk their reputations by supporting it. But Jenner was not deterred. He continued his work, conducting more trials and collecting more data to support his theory. Despite the challenges, Jenner's perseverance paid off. His findings were eventually accepted by the scientific community, and the world's first vaccine was born. This was a major breakthrough in the fight against the Red Plague. Jenner's vaccine saved countless lives and paved the way for future vaccines. The invention of the first vaccine was not an easy journey. It was a path filled with obstacles, doubt, and criticism, but it was also a path filled with discovery, innovation, and ultimately hope. The invention of the first vaccine was a beacon of hope in a world of despair. With the advent of the vaccine, humanity finally had a weapon to defeat the Red Plague. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in our battle against this catastrophic disease, a chapter marked by hope and resilience. The first step was the distribution of the vaccine. It was an enormous undertaking requiring unprecedented collaboration and meticulous planning. Vaccine vials were shipped to every corner of the globe, from bustling metropolises to remote villages. Healthcare workers, the unsung heroes in our story, worked tirelessly to administer the vaccine, often in challenging conditions. As the vaccine began to reach the masses, we saw its impact on the disease's progression. The once rapidly spreading plague started showing signs of retreat. The rate of new infections began to slow, and for the first time since the beginning of this ordeal, there was a glimmer of hope. The vaccine didn't just slow the disease, it also significantly reduced the death rates. Hospitals, once overwhelmed with the sick and the dying, began to breathe a sigh of relief. The Grim Reaper's grip was loosening, and life, as we once knew it, was starting to re-emerge. The eventual control of the Red Plague was no small feat. It was a victory hard won. It was a victory that highlighted the indomitable human spirit, our ability to rise in the face of adversity, to innovate, and to overcome. The role of the vaccine in this victory cannot be overstated. It was the key that unlocked our path to triumph. It was the beacon that guided us out of the shadows of despair. It was proof that when humanity comes together, no challenge is too great, no enemy too formidable. The triumph over the Red Plague was a testament to human tenacity and the power of science. It was a reminder that even in our darkest hours, there is always a way forward, always a light at the end of the tunnel, and most importantly, it was a lesson in hope, resilience, and the indomitable human spirit. The Red Plague left a deep scar on humanity, but it also propelled us into a new era of medical breakthroughs. This statement couldn't be more accurate. The Red Plague, a devastating pandemic, was a stark reminder of our vulnerability. However, it also served as a catalyst for unprecedented advancements in the field of medical science, particularly in the creation of the world's first vaccine. This vaccine, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos, marked a turning point in human history. In the wake of the Red Plague, humanity realized the importance of proactive healthcare. Efforts were increased manifold to understand diseases, their causes, and most importantly, their prevention. The lessons learned from the Red Plague led to a seismic shift in our approach to health and wellness. No longer were we focused solely on treatment, we began directing our efforts towards prevention. The first vaccine, created as a response to the Red Plague, was a testament to this new preventative approach. It wasn't just a medical solution, it was a symbol of human resilience and ingenuity. This first vaccine laid the foundation for a new era of medical innovations. Vaccines for countless other diseases were developed, and the principles established during the creation of the first vaccine continue to guide vaccine development even today. The legacy of the Red Plague and the first vaccine cannot be overstated. The Red Plague served as a grim reminder of the devastating power of disease, while the first vaccine represented the triumph of science over adversity. The lessons learned from this period continue to shape our healthcare policies and medical research. In today's world, where new diseases continue to emerge, the importance of vaccines is more apparent than ever. Vaccines have saved countless lives and continue to be our most effective tool in preventing disease. The Red Plague was a catastrophe, but it also led to the invention of the world's first vaccine, a tool that continues to save millions of lives today. Please like, comment, and subscribe to learn more about such fascinating tales of human resilience and scientific innovation.